Hey guys, Lucas Soccer here. Today we are looking at the new Juhu format. Today we're going to start off with the most important deck, I think, for this next format, which is going to be Yummy. I think this deck is absolutely incredible. I think it is probably my favorite out of the three new decks coming out. I'm just going to give you a complete guide on it from start to finish if you have no idea what's going on with this format. This is the video for you. Starting off, we have the most important Yummy main deck monster. This is Cupsy. They're all going to have this similar effect to some of themselves from the hand. It's going to start off with, if you control a Link 1 monster or a level 2 Synchro monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only special summon Cupsy Yummy once per turn this way. And this is something that all of the main deck Yummy monsters have. There's three of them. There's Cupsy, Cookie, and Lollipo. I don't know. They're cool little boba guys, so... besides that, they all have an additional effect that triggers on summon. Cupsy is the most important because it progresses the game state the most. It says if this card is normal or special summon, you can add one Yummy card from your deck to your hand except Cupsy Yummy. And they all have this additional effect when they were summoned by the effect of a Synchro monster that kind of changes that first effect. It says, or if this card was special summoned by the effect of a Synchro monster's effect, you can draw one card instead. So that's going to be really good during your opponent's turn. On your turn, you can use it to add more Yummy cards so you're able to finish comboing, make your board better. But on your opponent's turn, you're actually able to get more resources off of it because you're going to be summoning this and drawing a card. Moving on, we have Cookie Yummy. Same starting effect here. If you control a Link 1 monster or a level 2 Synchro monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is normal or special summon, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls. It loses 1,000 attack. Now, that's important because that attack change is permanent. And that's going to come up a lot when you get in the Nibiru and things like that, where they're going to have a monster on their field. Being able to permanently push their guy down in attack points is really, really helpful for you. Not just because of it like lowering their attack stat, but if you like really look at this deck, it's a lot of small guys. It's kind of like an effect that Sprite had where all of your guys are really small. So you have to do like a lot of different things in order to get them not easily punched over, in the battle phase. So like any Bestials or Nibirus or Phantasmas that get summoned. Having something that like permanently decreases their attack is going to be really helpful for you. Besides that, its additional effect, if it's summoned by the effect of a Synchro monster, says you can destroy that monster instead. So not only are we getting something that's phenomenal when we are getting like hand trapped and the monster getting summoned, we can like permanently lower them down to where they're not able to destroy our field. We're actually able to just destroy them during our opponent's turn if we summon them off a Synchro monster effect, or if we somehow trigger a Synchro monster effect to summon during our turn. That's an option as well. Then we have Lollipo Yummy. Same thing here for the summon effect. I'm not even going to read it this time. Here is the on summon effect though. It says if this card is normal or special summon, you can target one card in your opponent's graveyard, shuffle it into the deck, or if this card was special summoned by the effect of a Synchro monster, you can banish that card instead. Now honestly, this is the worst out of the three, but having a graveyard removal is pretty decent. It really just adds to the board's just layering of types of interaction. So in this deck, you're most of the time going to be getting a Book of Moon for 2, a pop. You're going to get an Omni Negate. You're going to get another pop off of the field spell. And you're going to get just like other forms of layered interaction. Those are going to be the main forms you're going to get anyway. It's basically like Book of Moons, pops, banishes, but you're also going to get like additional draws and like Omni Negates from you synchroing. That's it for the main deck Yummy monsters. Some of the additional cards this deck plays as starters is Obedient School. If you look at all these guys here, they're all beasts. And even though Obedient School does lock you into beasts, and that's not necessarily where you exactly want to be for your inboard, you're summoning 3 monsters from the deck, so it doesn't matter. Even if you are ending with all beasts, you kind of make your board during your opponent's turn anyways, so Obedient School is totally fine to play. In fact, it's one of the best starters you can have going into a board. Along with that, there is Engage in the deck. Engage is randomly a 1-card combo for this deck, and I'll get to that later, but it's mainly due to the effect of Hornet Drones. Kind of feels like Malice in the sense that we're using these cards just to create general bodies that we can play with, but in this deck, it actually equals full combo, not just 2/3 of combo. Then there's 3 more cards that we need to cover for this deck. This deck has 2 different field spells. I know it's a little bit weird for a deck to have 2 different field spells because they're going to kind of overlap, but in this deck it works really well. The first one is Yummy's Mint Minion. These cards have weird names, so just bear with me. I apologize. I can't change the names, unfortunately. But this one is going to be the main card you're going to use in all of your combos. It's also going to be the one that helps you actually put damage on the field. Because like we talked about, these guys are pretty small. They do get really big, though, with this effect here. It says, Yummy monsters you control gain 500 attack for each light beast monster on the field. On the field. Not just your field, the field. So if you play a mirror match, your little Yummy guys are going to get up to like 5k attack, 6k attack. It's crazy. It's really funny having game states like that. Especially when you're like punching over small things and doing like a ton of damage. It's absolutely insane. The other effect of this card says, if you control a Link 1 monster, you can target one level 1 Yummy monster in your graveyard, special summon it. That's important. You do have to control a Link 1 monster. A lot of people forget that. Then it says, if this card is in your graveyard, you can target 2 Yummy monsters in your graveyard and or banishment. Place them and this card on the bottom of the deck in any order. This means that you have an infinite grind game with your deck. A card that infinitely puts itself back, doesn't ever banish itself or get taken out of fully rotation. is phenomenal. You have an infinite grind game with this, and having 2 field spells means that you can easily put one into the graveyard whenever you're needing to. With the other field spell, it says, if you synchro summon a light beast synchro monster, you can target 1 card your opponent controls, destroy it. Phenomenal card right here. This is just another layer to your board. And then it gives you some protection as well. It says, if a face-up monster you control leaves the field by an opponent's card effect, has to be card effect, can't be by battle, you can special summon Yummy monster from your deck. If this card is in your graveyard, you can target 2 Yummy monsters in your graveyard and or banishment. Place them and this card on the bottom of the deck in any order. So that field spell has the same sort of recycling effect. So you can put one over it, use this one, go back into your deck, and then search it again. Do the same thing. Kind of just keep circling the field spells to get infinite names back into rotation. And the last spell that we have here is going to be one of the most important ones. It is Yummy Surprise. This is going to be the main one you're going to be searching off of Cupsy because you do have access to the field spells at any point in time with the Link 1. Surprise is a fantastic card. It's going to be a way to play through interaction. It's going to be a disruption on top of your board, and it's going to be a way that you can kind of free yourself if you do get clogged up on your infinite grind game. We're going to go over all 3 effects of this card because it does have 3 of them for some reason. It says you can activate one of these effects per turn, but you can only use each effect of Yummy Surprise once per turn. So like if you technically have multiple Yummy Surprise, you can activate it, but you just can't use the same effect over and over again. Starting off the first one here, it says target 2 light beast monsters you control and 2 cards your opponent controls, return them to the hand. So it's starting off as a bounce 2. This is also an incredible card to have if you're going second. Your hand is Obedient Schooled. Because you can start off with Obedient Schooled, just summon 3 guys, and even though they're negated, you can immediately activate Yummy Surprise, put 2 of them back into your hand, bounce 2 cards your opponent controls. Really hard to interact with that. And then you also get like the 2 cards that you just bounced to your hand to like play with and extend. The other effect says special summon 1 Yummy monster from your hand or graveyard, but it cannot attack directly this turn. That does not matter at all. It doesn't negate the effects. You're basically able to just re-access your engine at any point in time or extend even further. And this last effect does come up in like really weird situations where you get clogged up on your own grind game. So return 1 field spell from your face-up field or graveyard to the hand. Then you can place 1 Yummy field spell from your hand face-up on the field. So really cool thing here. If your field spell somehow gets trapped in the graveyard, you can just activate this. It puts that field spell back in your hand, and then you can choose to optionally activate it. It's an optional effect. You can just choose to like recycle one of your field spells if you want. But this card is insane, gives you basically infinite versatility. The extra deck has 4 new cards that are coming to it. Starting off with the most important one, this is Yummy Snatchy. Crazy name, by the way. It is a Link 1 that requires a level 4 lower light beast monster. So you're going to be making these with pretty much any of your Yummy monsters you want at any point in time. Main thing with this card is that you're going to be summoning him a lot. And we'll go into why you summon him a lot here in a little bit. But it says, if this card is special summoned, you can place 1 Yummy field spell from your hand or deck face up on the field. Also, you cannot special summon Link 3 or higher Link monsters for the rest of this turn. Who cares? We do not care if we're locked into Link 3 or higher. If you look at the extra deck here, don't even play any of them. That does not matter whatsoever. Important thing to remember here, this is on special summon, not Link summon, special summon. So if you summon this during your opponent's turn, you can actually use it to change out your minion that you use to combo into a Crocky, which is going to get you the pop that you get when you synchro summon. So that's an important thing to remember. Don't miss out on that interaction, that disruption. They're eating for basically free. The other effect of Yummy Snatchy says once per chain during the main phase or your opponent's battle phase, quick effect, you can pay 100 life points immediately after this effect resolves. Synchro summon 1 synchro monster using monsters you control as material, including a monster. That is insane. That is not once per turn. That is once per chain. What you're going to be doing with this deck a lot of the time is you're going to be summoning a Yummy Snatchy either from your graveyard or you're already going to have one on your field. And you're going to be just synchroing. You're going to synchro about 4 or 5 times during your opponent's turn. It's just going to equal more and more and more disruptions. And here's the cool thing with these Yummy monsters is they just consistently put more and more bodies on the field, so you're just able to interact further with your opponent. Then we have the synchro monsters. There's 3 different synchro monsters here, and they all have like the names of the main deck monsters, so it's going to get a little bit confusing. We're going to start off with Cupsy Yummy Way. Like there's Cupsy Yummy and there's Cupsy Yummy Way. All of the synchro monsters have the same sort of condition with it. It says, for this card's synchro summon, you can treat 1 level 1 Link 1 monster you control as a level 1 tuner monster. So, if you have, let's say, Kagari and a level 1 token, because you activated Hornet Drones, summoned Kagari, added it back, activated it again, you get a Link 1 monster and a level 1 monster, you can just synchro those away into a Yummy monster. For some reason, that is just how it works, and it's super cool. I'm glad we're getting something that's a little bit unique, but this is an insane card here. Says that if this card is synchro summoned, you can add 2 Yummy monsters from your deck to your hand, then discard 1 card. All of the Yummy monsters, all the Synchro Yummy monsters at least, all have this effect as well. This is when your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, you can return this card to the extra deck, special summon up to 2 Yummy monsters from your graveyard. This is how you're going to be getting so many bodies during your opponent's turn, is you're going to keep reviving these Yummy monsters off of the other Yummy monsters. So there's 3 of them, like I talked about. So if you wanted to, you could go Cupsy effect, tag yourself out, summon out the Lollipo and the Cookie from your graveyard, and that gives you 2 more guys that you could then tag out again to have basically 4 level 1 monsters if you wanted to. You can also use that to special summon your Yummy Snatchy from the graveyard, triggering that effect that I talked about earlier to put a field spell on the field. Moving on, we have a Lollipo. This one is insane. Even though the main deck one is a little bit bad, the Synchro one is insane. Same thing here. If this card would be used for a Synchro summon, you can use a level 1 guy, a Link 1 guy. You know what I'm talking about. Same thing the other guys had. And this card, once again, has the same effect to tag out, but its on-summon effect is ridiculous. It says if this card is Synchro summoned, you can special summon 2 Yummy monsters from your graveyard, but negate their effects. Who cares? This is summoning basically a free Synchro monster from your graveyard at any point in time. Because what you're going to do is you're already going to have a Yummy Snatchy on the field. You're going to revive 2 guys that you want to Synchro with, and then you can just activate the Yummy Snatch you already had to go ahead and Synchro summon. Do whatever you want to at that point in time. But Lollipo is going to be your main way of extension and kind of expanding your board to get bigger and bigger. Then we have the last Yummy monster here. This is going to be the main one you're going to use to break boards as well as kind of create disruptions for your opponent. Once again, it has that same sort of condition that you can use a Link 1 monster as a level 1 tuner monster. It's got the same tag out effect as all the other Synchros, but this one says that if this card is Synchro Summon, you can target up to 2 face-up monsters on the field, not just in a certain spot on the field. Change them to face-down defense position. That is insane. We basically get a double Book of Moon that can target monsters on the field. That may come up, by the way. One cool interaction is that if a monster gets negated, and it's like already negated. Say I had, I don't know, Baron de Fleur on the field, and somebody activated an infinite impermanence on my Baron de Fleur, and it was negated. If for some reason I want to use this Baron de Fleur's effect, even though it's negated here, I can activate its effect to negate something. In the same chain link, if that Baron de Fleur is flipped face down, since it is now face down on the field, any lingering effect that was applying its negation is no longer applying because the monster is now face down. So Baron would then resolve to negate and destroy. Now, there are some cute interactions you can actually do with that in this deck specifically. Like if you use an effect to revive a monster from the graveyard, like Lollipo's effect, even though it would negate the monster, usually you could then use it in combination with the Cookie. So if you special summon Cookie from your graveyard, and even though it's going to be negated by the effect of Lollipo, you can activate it. You can target 1 monster your opponent controls to destroy it. If you can somehow synchro in the same chain link to make it all kind of work together, you can go chain link to Cookie effect. You can target 1 of their monsters to put face down. You can also target your own Cookie. When Cookie resolves, it'll be face down, so then the lingering effect will resolve, or won't be like applying to the card anymore, and so the pop actually will go through. I know it's kind of a niche interaction. I probably went too much in detail there. If you guys have any questions or clarification on it, you can leave them in the comment section down below. But that is something that definitely comes up anytime there's like a card that like puts something face down. It's another reason why Book of Eclipse was so good in Rescue Ace and Unchained format, is because if they impermed or veilered your Rescue Ace Turbulence on summon, you could just say, okay, that's fine. Effect, and then chain Book of Moon or Book of Eclipse. Put your Turbulence face down. Since he's now face down, the effect is going to resolve. Set a bunch of cards from your deck. Now that we've gone over all the unique cards in the deck, let's start looking at some combos. Starting off with the most standard combo, this is going to be Cupsy Yummy here. You can technically combo with any Yummy monster. So all 3 of the normal summons in your deck, all 3 of the Yummy names in your main deck, those are all full combo. Obedient School's full combo. Engage, Hornet Drones, even Prosperity. Like, they're all going to basically be full combo. This deck can play basically 17 one-card combos, which is insane for a new deck. Usually new decks come out, and the main thing they lack is consistency. That's not going to be the case for this deck here. Let's look at the one-card combo now. We're going to start off by normal summoning Cupsy Yummy. On the summon of Cupsy Yummy, it is going to add Yummy Surprise from our deck to our hand. Then we're going to link off the Cupsy. We're going to make Snatchy, and Snatchy is going to get access to our field spell because it was special summoned. We're going to put our Minion on the field. Like I said, this is the one that you're going to be using for most of your combos just because it gets you a free body for extension. We're going to use the effect of Minion now. We're going to special summon the Cupsy from our graveyard, and then we can Synchro Summon. We're going to go ahead and Synchro Summon using our Yummy Snatchy as a level 1 tuner monster, and then we can use our Cupsy as the other level 1 body. We're going to go straight for Cupsy Yummy Way here. Remember, the effect on summon is going to trigger now. We're going to add 2 Yummy monsters from our deck to our hand, and then we're going to discard a card. So we're going to go ahead and throw this Random Wallows that was in our hand to the graveyard. From there, we're going to go ahead and special summon Cookie Yummy. Doesn't really matter which one you summon here. They're all going to end up at the same place anyways. But after we special summon the Cupsy Yummy, we're going to go ahead and link away our Yummy Way, and then we can synchro off those two monsters to go ahead and summon Lollipo Yummy Way. Like I said, this is going to be the main one that we're going to use for extension, how to expand your field. On summon, we're going to special summon 2 monsters from our graveyard. It's best that you bring out the 2 level 1 monsters here. And then from there, we're going to go ahead and synchro 2 of them off. We're going to synchro with the Lollipo. And either one of the level 1s, it doesn't really matter. We're going to make Martial Metal Marcher. On summon, this guy is going to special summon a level or a tuner monster from our graveyard. It is going to negate the effects, so keep that in mind here. You don't want to like randomly activate the effect to return your guys to the extra deck, because these guys do return as cost. So if for some reason they're negated and you do activate them and they return to your extra deck, since they were face up on the field when they resolved and they go to your extra deck, the effect is still going to resolve negated. It's not the same thing as if the monster was put face down on the field. But we are going to use the effect of Metal Marcher. We're going to special back our Yummy Way. Doesn't really matter. You can also special summon back the Cupsy. We're just trying to put a guy on our field. From there, we're going to go ahead and do our nib checkpoint. We have to get nibbed here, because if we don't, we're going to go ahead and synchro summon. We're going to make our first Herald of the Arclight. From there, we're going to go ahead and special summon this Lollipo to our field, and then we can link away our Lollipo Yummy Way to make another Snatchy, and we're going to set a card face down. So this is the end board here. It doesn't look very strong, does it? Honestly, the board looks pretty weak, considering this is like one of the best one-card combos in our deck. Here's how you play it out. On your opponent's turn, the main sources of interaction you're going to have is we have 1 negate starting off with our Herald of Arclight. You can either use that now or save it. Herald of Arclight has a random effect here that says any monster sent from the hand or the main deck to the graveyard is banished instead. So it's kind of like a random lingering floodgate. If they decide to summon an Izuna and use the effect to then send a Canine card from it to the graveyard, it's going to get banished. So really cool thing there. But we're going to use the Herald of Arclight negate first just because it's the easiest to show. So there's 1 negate. From there, we're going to use the effect of Yummy Snatch. We're going to pay 100 life points. We're going to synchro summon. We're going to take our 2 monsters. We're going to summon a Cookie Yummy Way. And then there, we have the effect to actually target 2 guys on the field and Book of Moon them. So great disruption right there. It's going to clog up their field and also like kind of permanently hinder the amount of extension they can do, because now they only have 3 monsters on to play with. When they activate another effect, we're going to use the effect of Cookie Yummy Way to go ahead and tag out here. Special summon from our graveyard a Cookie as well as another one of the synchro monsters. Doesn't really matter which one you summon back. Because Cookie was special summoned by the effect of a synchro monster, we're going to use his effect. It's going to destroy now instead of just lowering the attack. So there's another pop. And then when our opponent activates another card again, we can now use the effect of the other synchro monster we special from the graveyard. We're going to special summon a Yummy Snatchy as well as another synchro monster. If you guys didn't get, we're kind of just going down this chain reaction of getting 1 additional body every time we activate a synchro monster effect. But it's going to get a little bit better here soon. Instead of just getting 1 body, we're going to get a lot more. On the summon of Yummy Snatch, we're going to use the effect to go ahead and replace our field spell. This is going to get us our extra pop with the Acroe. And then we are going to use the effect of our Lollipo Yummy Way to go ahead and tag out again. Here we're going to special summon our Cupsy Yummy. And then I like to special summon a Yummy Snatchy here just because I'd prefer to have more Link 1s if possible. From there, we're going to get the effect of Cupsy Yummy, which is going to get us a draw. You can draw into an Ash Blossom, a Songs of the Dominator, a Purge, a Veiler, whatever hand traps you decide to play, you are going to get a draw off of this card here. So that is definitely something to keep in mind. And then we are going to use the effect of Yummy Snatchy to go ahead and synchro summon. We're going to use the Yummy Snatchy on our field, as well as either one of the level monsters, doesn't really matter. And we're going to summon a Lollipo Yummy Way. This is the card that we just put back in our extra deck. Remember how I said that we're going to use him for extension? It's not just going to be extension on our turn, it's going to be extension in general. So here we're going to get the effect on summon to go ahead and special summon 2 guys back, as well as we're going to trigger the field spell effect to go ahead and target 1 card your opponent controls and destroy it. So another disruption right there, phenomenal. We're going to summon back 2 of our guys from the graveyard. Remember, these guys are negated, but it doesn't really matter that much here. And then we can use the effect of Yummy Snatchy again to go ahead and synchro summon for the 3rd time this turn. We're going to take all of our guys, summon our 2nd Herald of Arclight, and then we still have our Yummy Surprise, which we did not activate the entire turn. So because of this sequencing here, we can actually use the effect to target 2 light beast monsters you control and 2 cards your opponent controls and return them to the hand. So we're basically getting a bounce 2 here, as well as we're still going to have our negate with Herald of Arclight. So we got 2 Omni Negates, we got 2 Destroys, we got 2 Book of Moons, and we got 2 bounces. And a draw. That was phenomenal off of 1 card. And the coolest thing about this is that it didn't even look like we had a board. You know, it was kind of that tier limit effect where they have like 1 set card, they had 2 cards in hand they weren't supposed to have. They like searched throughout their combo, and then they have like maybe 1 monster. It's kind of the same thing, you know. We're kind of just putting a very minimal board on the field and just hiding all of our disruptions in really random places, which is fantastic. Usually anything like that sets up like layer disruptions that you don't really see immediately while looking at the field is a fantastic end board. Let's look to see the combo if we have Cookie Yummy instead of Cupsy. It's going to be pretty much the same, but I'm going to walk you through the main steps just in case y'all get confused. We're going to start off by summoning Cookie Yummy. We're going to link him away because he doesn't have an effect we need to use right now. We're going to go Snatchy into Minion, and then Minion is going to summon back our Cookie. and we're going to go ahead and synchro those off. We are going to make our Cupsy Yummy Way, use the effect to go ahead and add to. Here we're going to go ahead and add whichever name we didn't use earlier, just to kind of like diversify the names that we have in rotation, and we're going to add Cupsy. Discard any card from your hand, does not matter, and then we're going to summon the Cupsy, and use Cupsy effect to go ahead and add Yummy Snatchy. From here, we're going to do the exact same thing we did before. We're going to link away our Link 2 monster, and then we're going to synchro with the Snatchy, synchro with the Cupsy, and we're going to make Lollipo. Lollipo is going to summon back 2, and then we're going to synchro with the Lollipo, as well as one of the level 1s, go into Middle Marcher. Middle Marcher is going to summon something back, and then from there, we're going to go ahead and make a Herald of Arclight. We're going to special summon the Lollipo from our hand, and then we can link off the Cupsy Yummy Way into our Snatchy, set a card, and boom. The exact same inboard, right? We normal summoned basically a vanilla monster, and he got us to the full combo. That monster could have no effect if they somehow printed a level 1 normal light beast monster that had Yummy in its name. That was the exact same combo, and we got to the full board. The coolest thing about this board is that this board actually plays around Nib, even though it doesn't really look like it does. In this hand, we have Lollipo Yummy instead of a cookie. It can be either one, doesn't matter. They're the exact same combo. You sequence them exactly the same. And our opponent has a Nibiru. We're going to start off by normal summoning the Lollipo, make a Snatchy. Snatchy's going to get access to our field spell, and then we're going to use the effective minion to revive from the graveyard. From there, we're going to go ahead and do the same thing we've been doing for about 10 minutes now. We are going to synchro summon, add our other name that we didn't start with, as well as a Cupsy from our deck to our hand, and we're going to discard the Fuwalos. We're going to summon Cupsy. Cupsy effect is now going to trigger to add a Yummy Surprise. And then from there, we are going to link 1, synchro off into our Lollipo Yummy Way, and then use the effect to revive 2 guys from the graveyard. We're going to synchro those off now, make a Metal Marcher, and then Metal Marcher is going to special back from the graveyard. And here is where our opponent has to nib us. They don't really have another point to nib us at all in this combo, because if they do nib us, it's the same point of extension, except it's a little bit better if they nib you earlier because you haven't used the Lollipo effect, so that is an option for you. But we're going to assume our opponent plays correctly, and they just nib us here right before we're supposed to make Herald. So we get nibbed, all of our guys go to the graveyard, and we get a token. Here's the cool thing with this token monster. Same thing that Malice actually did. We're going to turn it into a Link Spider. And I'm not sure if you noticed, but this Link Spider is actually a level or a Link 1 monster. And Cookie Yummy says if you control a Link 1 monster, you can special summon this card. So we're going to go ahead and special summon the Cookie. On summon of Cookie, remember the effect that I had mentioned earlier about making a guy lose attack. We're going to do that on this nib right here. So this nib is a lot smaller than what it should be. It's going to be going down to 2,000 attack points. If at some point during the opponent's turn we can do that again, the nib's going to go to 1,000 attack points and basically become useless. And then we're going to set a card. It seems like the inboard is not very good, but I'm going to show you how you can actually make this board do a lot. So during our opponent's turn, the most likely thing that's going to happen is they're going to go battle phase. They have this nib right now. They're going to try to attack our Cookie Yummy, kind of remove the threats of our guys off of the field. We're going to assume they do that. If they do, we're going to go in the battle phase, use our Yummy Surprise to actually special summon from the graveyard here. We're going to special summon back our Yummy Snatchy. On the effective Snatchy, it's going to go ahead and replace the field spell here. And then we can use the effective Snatchy to go ahead and synchro summon. I attacked with a Link Spider there. We're going to pretend that didn't happen. We're going to synchro summon. We are going to summon our Cookie Yummy Way. Now, this is very specific here. We're actually not going to use the effect of Cookie Yummy Way to Book of Moon the Nibiru. We're actually going to use the effect of the field spell here just to destroy it. There's no point of putting it face down when we can just get it off of the field right now. Now, our opponent's going to go main phase 2 and try to play the game, because if they don't play the game, they're going to lose anyways. While they're playing the game, you're going to get the effect of Cookie to go ahead and tag out. Anytime they activate a card or effect, we're going to special back our Cookie Yummy as well as our Lollipo Yummy Way from the graveyard. On summon of Cookie, it's going to get a pop, and then we're going to use the effect of Lollipo Yummy Way to go ahead and tag out anytime they use a card or effect, which is going to special summon our Cupsy. Cupsy is going to get a say draw, and then from there we can use the effect to tag out again, special summon another Yummy Snatchy, as well as the Lollipo Yummy Way from the graveyard. In this interaction here, we actually do get the effect of Lollipo Yummy Way to go ahead and either banish something from the graveyard or shuffle it into the deck, whatever you'd like to do. And then we can use the effect of Yummy Snatch to go ahead and synchro here. We're now going to make the Cookie, and this time on the summon of Cookie, we are going to use the effect to go ahead and Book of Moon 2 things, get 2 things kind of compromised from their combo, take them away as resources for them. Then we can use the effect of Yummy Snatch again to go ahead and synchro with our whole field and make a Herald. That was a 1-card combo. That was our worst 1-card combo, by the way. Through Nib, we got to like 1,000 disruptions. I'm not too good at counting, but that sounds about right. One of them being an Omni-Negate. We got a draw. We have a good amount of follow-up here. And honestly, this deck is able to do so much through so many different things. I'm going to have a combo video coming out later this week kind of explaining more of the combos for the deck, but let's look at a couple of the other deck options. Some other different options for the deck is actually running this package that I have down here. I'll show this off in the video that's coming up next week about Yummy combos. It's Joyous Melfi, number 56 Golden Rat, as well as Merry Melfies. I'll go over these cards later, but if you guys want to order them now, that way you have them, you're more than welcome to. They're like 3 cents. And then Sky Striker Ace Kaina. This is a card that a lot of people in the OCG are starting to play in their side deck. The main reason they're playing this is it's just kind of a way to gain life. As you start to reach the end of a duel, life points matter a lot, especially as that timer decreases down. And so having something that gains life points is really cool. You're basically going to have access to gain life anytime you have Engage or you have Hornet Drones. So what you'll do is you'll go activate Hornet Drones, you'll special summon a token, you'll make the Kagari, which is going to add back your Hornet Drones. You can link away the Kagari at that point to now make a Kaina, then you can activate the Hornet Drones. Because you activated the spell, you're going to get 100 life points. So then you can continue to combo, do whatever you'd want to for the rest of the turn, but you'll be up 100 life points. So that's important to know. One other thing that I want to talk about here is the Starham. This is a card that a lot of people in the OCG are not playing right now. It is a good card to consider, and it does make your combos a lot better, and it makes them better through Nib even, because you're basically always going to get to a Herald super, super early. The only thing with this card is that it requires some discards. He does look really cool, I'll be totally honest. He might be my favorite looking card I've ever seen in my entire life, but he requires discards, and I really don't like discarding my hand. Even if my hand is filled with chummies, a card is still a card. It still has card advantage, still provides value. Your opponent may play around certain things just because you have more cards in your hand, you know. But this card is not necessary for the combos. If you want, we can make combos with this in the deck. I just don't think it's something that we need to be looking at this point in time, just because there's better alternatives. Then moving on, the other cards I have here in the side deck as deck options is the Tri-Brigade cards. We actually just got new Tri-Brigade cards announced today, so we'll see if the OCG does start to implement those into the deck. But as far as right now in the TCG, these cards are horrible. Do not play them. It is a waste of your time. It is a waste of your opponent's time. Just don't play them. They're bad cards. Moving on, there is one card I want to talk about here. Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries. This card is a card that I have always called horrible. And even to this moment here, in a deck where we have summoned our Link 1 3 times in one turn, it's still horrible, right? Let's say our opponent activates Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries, and they banish all of our Yummy Snatchies from our deck. Sounds really, really tough, right? We don't have any more Link 1s, but what will we do? If you have any 2 Yummy names, you can basically play through that. Because what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and make an Anima, or you can make an Almirage, depends what you want to play in your extract. I think Anima is a little bit more versatile because, I mean, you need to eat a guy, helps break boards, you know. But you'll make an Anima, you'll special summon the other Yummy name you have from your hand, then you can just start synchroing. You can go into Cupsy, Lollipo, Cookie, whatever you want to do. You can finish your combo up. It is going to make your combo a little bit worse, but you can still get to a very good inboard through Cherries. Other thing I wanted to mention is that if you already have access to one of the field spells, like you either hard draw it or you have Prosperity to get to it, what you can do is you can use Cupsy to search the other field spell, and you can just activate one. I recommend activating a Crocky first and then putting the Minion on top of it. That way you can still keep the Minion effect to kind of cycle and get more bodies. And then on that, like basically same turn of stacking your field spells over each other, you can use the Crocky effect in your graveyard to go ahead and target 2 Yummy monsters in your graveyard and or banishment. Place them and this card at the bottom of the deck in order. So you can basically put back 2 of your Snatchies and then put this field spell back in your deck, and it's basically like Cherries didn't even happen. Once again, this card is proven to be absolutely awful, and if you argue otherwise, then you're wrong. Thanks, good talk. Anyways, I appreciate you guys watching the video. If you had any more questions about this deck or you want to see more things about it, let me know. Put them in the comment section down below. And if you guys would not mind commenting, and subscribing, I'd appreciate it. And I hope you guys have an absolutely fantastic day. Thanks. Bye-bye.